Hey, what's going on guys? Nick here with HN Entertainment's review for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, from director Ovredal and producer Guillermo del Toro. Now, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark has been long in development in Hollywood. They've been trying to crack this book for years now, whether to adapt it as a film or as a television series or just something in live action. A lot of people from my generation grew up reading and knowing about and kind of being exposed to in general, and I always had very fond memories about the book and, just the artwork being ingrained into my memory. So when I found out that Guillermo del Toro was helping to produce an adaptation of the book series, I got very excited. So essentially the film is set during the late 1960s at the height of the Vietnam War. The draft is in full swing. People are kind of scared about things, a lot of tension, a lot of social issues going on. But in this film we follow just a small town, everyone knows each other, and when things start happening, people get very worried. In the movie we follow a small group of teens who must solve the mystery surrounding their sudden and macabre deaths in their small town, which is linked to an ancient history within the town. So my first impressions walking into the film was that they had done it justice. I was pretty relieved because all of the marketing materials and trailers and TV spots they'd put out, I got really excited by. But then again, with trailers they can always be deceptive, small glimpses of things can look cool, but how can the overall narrative and structure work out? Is it all gonna click together? And in my opinion, I think they really did a very great job at linking all these stories together in a unique and interesting way. It's essentially this character named Sarah Bellos who produced all the scary stories in a book, and they start to come to life in different forms. You have Harold the Scarecrow, you have the Red Spot story, the Pale Lady, the Big Toe, and some of the other great hits from the books that, fans know and love. So I was very pleased that they had done that justice. Now, as for the characters, I thought that the young cast did a tremendous job as well. They really had a great sense of chemistry, and you really cared about all of them when they did encounter these monsters, and the storyline was very personal. It was very centered around this group of kids, so it wasn't like this big world-ending threat that if these monsters got out, they'd suddenly destroy the whole planet or something. It was very much centered on this small town and kind of the decisions that people make when telling stories and things, and how legends get created, and how things go on to become something bigger than they truly are. So I liked that element of it a lot. Now, as for the monsters, I thought they did a great job bringing them to life, and I'm so glad they actually used practical effects. For a lot of them, there are some moments where they have to move in a certain way that is definitely CG, but for a lot of it, you can go check out the B-roll footage and everything. They really built all these suits, and they look excellent in the film. As for the scare factor, I think this isn't too scary. This is obviously PG-13. Del Toro had made it public that it was going to be PG-13 because he said that he didn't want it to be not accessible for kids, because at the end of the day, they are stories meant for kids. I think the only reason people thought them to be darker or something is just because the accompanying illustrations by Stephen Gamble were so haunting and terrifying, but the stories themselves, they are meant to be sort of read by kids and teens around campfires to get everybody scared, so that's sort of inherent to its nature. Now, my final thoughts on this: go check it out. If you're fans of the book, I think you'll really enjoy it, but if you're not too big on horror, I think you'll enjoy it as well, because like I said, it's not too scary. It has the right balance of character and horror elements to it, but also really deep story and really interesting themes that are also relevant to today's society. So I highly recommend you guys check out Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark this weekend, because it's worth supporting, and hopefully this leads to other films in the series. If you guys got a chance to check the film out early, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible though, to preserve that first viewing experience for those of you who do go and try to check out the film. But for more reviews and everything in pop culture, be sure to subscribe to HN Entertainment.